Today, we're joined now by Professor Femi Otunbanjo, who is a political scientist. Yes, you'll get to see him shortly. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Some of the matters we're looking at with respect to the elections as we move forward to the dates that have been announced now is all of these issues making the rounds about. First, to talk about both parties, leading parties. Now, yesterday, it was reported that they had gone to court seeking to also ask INEC to allow voters use the temporary voter cards to vote, whereas INEC on their part had planned that we will ensure that this elections has the highest integrity, at least compared to previous elections. And they say, look, if they use the PVCs, it will give them a challenge. But the courts, I beg your pardon, the parties, even having heard that, still proceeded to the courts. What's your interpretation of what's going on, particularly concerning that one?
Well, the INEC promised that they will conduct perhaps the best election using the PVCs and the card readers. But they have not been able to manage the logistics of distributing those essential elements of the best election that they promised. I have a feeling that given the shift and the window that has been given to them of 3 to 4 weeks, they may be able to distribute the PVC to a satisfactory level, in which case we may not need the temporary voter's card. But the problem still remains, how do you manage the card readers? Are they sure that we can manage the card readers? We have 119,000 plus polling units, and they have to distribute about 120,000, have standby machines. They talk about battery life. There are so many technical issues that are imponderables. We are not sure that they will work. But my worry is that at this stage, what do? You want people not to use their PVCs and go back to temporary? Everybody, or those who don't have, can come with their TVCs, in which case they will not need card readers, in which case the whole idea of card readers will have been defeated. So there's a problem. But I think that the solution is remove the card readers. Just save time, take people as they come, and let those who have TVCs also to come. So really we can combine both. There's no reason why it cannot be combined. Just the critical point is to remove the card readers and just use PVCs as identification. That is the whole purpose, identification.
So we're going back to the old way.
Which is the old way?
The old way is, well, not going with the card readers. Yes. The old way is taking names, getting accredited, and doing it the manual way.
In the circumstance, yes. I think there's nothing wrong with going back to the old way. It's not necessarily, it's regressive. It is not necessarily. If you cannot manage an innovation, then it's better to stay where you are. If you cannot manage it properly, if you cannot manage it to create a credible election, already INEC has issues with distribution of PVCs.
Let me go because, I mean, why parties say INEC has issues? INEC says, look, we're good to go. 2 days ago, the Director of Voter Education, Mr. Oluwole Osaze-Ozi, told us that, look, we're training the trainers, we're progressing with the training processes, we've done mock trial of the card readers, and then we also had Kaide Do, Chief Press Secretary to INEC Chairman, echo the same thing. The resident electoral commissioner in Lagos was here. He said, look, all of these things, we are in order. We're moving as scheduled.
Moving at what date? You know, the election was supposed to be tomorrow. And what date are they training? They are still training. So they had failed against the background of 14th. They were still training. They were still distributing. So 14th, they were responsible for the shift, basically because they were not ready. At the beginning of this week, 57% for the whole of the South, that is average, 83% for the North. Distribution, this week. So when were they going to distribute sufficiently for everybody to participate fairly? Because it's free, fair election. So if 83% in the North, 57%, you already have skewed the election. And you cannot claim to have a fair and credible election. So if they are talking, we are ready, but they were not ready. The facts are there that they were not ready. And they are still not ready today. So they can make all the proclamations in the world, but the evidence does not support it.
Didn't know
Let them tell
tomorrow.
us, have you distributed 80-something% in the South? Let them give you figures so that we'll know what they have distributed.
Is it about distribution or collection for some?
Collection, yeah. Distribution, collection. How did they do it in the North? They gave to district heads. Don't we have chiefs in the South? Don't we have quarter heads in the South? Why did they do that here?
Okay.
So let us be fair in analyzing things. The reality is that INEC was not ready.